Hello dear Eritreans and justice seekers, سلامات كلاتكم. بإنجليش يخزارب يغليتا ندهر ديل داكم كوينو زترقم أساب نطلع نزخات صبا. So this is a reminder of the invitation to hold demonstrations all over the world in front of the Eritrean embassies, or if you can't locally, on September 18th, 2018. There's an announcement video in English to which I'll put a link here in the description somewhere, and if someone wants to translate that in Tigrinya or Tigre, Saho, Kunama, etc., that would be great. I know that there will be a demonstration in Geneva in a few days, and it looks like many people will participate there. It's good to see people mobilizing. If there's one thing I'm concerned about is that PFDJ has figured out that all the opposition needs is a few protests and then they'll stay quiet for a couple of years. I hope this isn't the case because I know traveling to another country costs money and time and energy, and I hope this demonstration doesn't stop people from their activism after that, giving them a sense of false achievement. And it's the same with the demonstration of September 18th, 2018 now. It's just a demonstration which requires 2 hours at most of your time being present there, which clearly isn't enough to bring about change. It is, however, one of the many things needed, and while we have very good activists and human rights advocates among us, the rest of us need to support them doing these small things, or even organizing other things where we can. So we can't let them fight Isas Afwerki and PFDJ alone. I heard that there are concerns about the Geneva demonstrations and how it started, who proposed it, etc. I don't have all that information, but I can say something about the September 18th one. So the idea was simply to give people enough notice to show up in these dates that come yearly, but it seems we either forget about it until last minute or we didn't prepare for them at all, despite having 365 days to plan them. So here in the UK, there are a few activists who thought of helping plan these kind of events, and I also reached out to other activists in other countries to both remind them to hold a demonstration on that day and invite them to work together, which simply means having a common theme for the day, which is we will not be silenced and we will not forget. A few said they agreed with the idea, and that was that each activist and interest person, even you, would participate locally and show up in front of the local Eritrean embassy. So what does this kind of a demonstration achieve? Definitely not an instant change, but a continued show of solidarity among ourselves and defiance to tyranny. It's not that Isas Afwerki is going to change his heart on that day, but change comes, among other things, through a continued discourse among those involved. And continuation is key, because if the Eritrean people show up in demonstrations like the one in Geneva a couple years ago, and then go on hiatus and the momentum is lost, and I hope it doesn't happen again this time. PFDJ's game is simply buying time while they exploit us. They do that through UPR, through deals with other countries in the region, and with international superpowers, etc. Now we're facing a big threat because the situation with Ethiopia is proving to be a big distraction for many, and some activists were even wondering if holding a demonstration like the one in September 18th will be necessary. Because many are saying, let's see what happens. Yeah, sure, let's see, but let's also continue to act for change. So the invitation was sent out before the peace deal was signed between the two countries, and sadly, it's still valid. There is no rule of law in Eritrea. It is not a democratic country by any means. Human rights are not respected. People who have been made to disappear remain unaccounted for. Those imprisoned without trial are still missing. There is no freedom of press, and so on. Meanwhile, Isas Afwerki has thrown us into a war with Yemen, continues to choke freedoms while he gains from the country's natural resources, leases our lands and sells our future, and many people are still afraid of the system there that they run away, and unfortunately so many people are trapped in the route in between. Notoriously lately Libya, but Sinai and all of those that happened in the past years. So we have to stop it. Yeah, change comes from within, but those who are within are being silenced. So we must be their voices. Now, regarding the event on September 18th, just prepared a few things to do for the event. Number one is notify local authorities and get permissions if it's necessary where you live. In some places, it's not necessary, but it's still good, even if it's not necessary, to let the police know. Number two is prepare all the banners, the placards, the audio equipment, the flags, etc. We've discussed with certain activists the idea of holding our flags at half-mast because it shows that we're in mourning for all those people, not only that died, but also that are still dying because of Isazavok and PFDJ. The main slogans for the banners and placards are, "We will not be silenced," and "We will not forget." But it also would be a good idea to have quotes from those who disappeared, those journalists and politicians who called for democracy, transparency, etc. The third is invite prominent anti-PFDJ activists to join, and also if they can prepare speeches for the day. And I would steer clear of people who have shown themselves to be, yes, anti-PFDJ, but also very divisive along regionalist, religious lines, or who are clearly spewing just hate speech, basically. Number four is fundraise for the expenses for the placards and audio equipment if necessary. Number five is prepare articles for the media or publish it in your own platforms. So those among you who can write articles and all of that should definitely do that before the event, so people are aware about what's going on. And you can just write about all the different human rights violations that are happening in Eritrea, what's been happening, current events, whatever, and then remind people to show up on the day wherever you are. Number six is prepare videos and publish them on social media, which is along the same lines as writing, basically. Number seven is if we set up event pages on Facebook and Eventbrite or other platforms. This is a habit that we should be getting used to, just to let the organizers know how many people are coming. If you don't want to do that, just let them know somehow. If you know them personally, call them, email them, or whatever, locally. And this also means that the people organizing it locally should let it be known in their areas that they are organizing it, or at least gathering everyone together for the day. Number eight will be contacting Eritrean and other medias to cover the event so that, our voices are heard even more. All right, so those are the things to do for the event. Have a good time in Geneva if you're going there, but don't let that drain you. Don't lose your momentum. And we'll see you on September 18th here in the UK. It will be in front of the Eritrean embassy near Angel. And it will be from 3:30 till 5 p.m. So that's just 1 hour and a half. Try to be there on time. Be there for the whole hour and a half. And we've done it later in the afternoon, so people who work in the morning can also come. But try to take the day off. The notification was sent a couple of months at least before the date itself. And now you have approximately 4 weeks to plan. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care.